Hey, it's Tate from Nanjing Marketing Group. I was hoping to talk about outbound leads and inbound leads a bit. Which are better? What's the difference between them? And how can your team handle outbound leads if they're used to inbound leads? Or how can they handle inbound leads if they're used to outbound leads? Now, while I'm talking about this, what I have in mind mostly are leads for B2B oriented businesses. So I'm thinking about big sales here. And an outbound lead is something where you have a sales team and that sales team has gone out and they have contacted some companies and gotten these leads ready. Maybe it's one salesperson is doing this, or maybe it's a team. An inbound lead is when a company is contacting you for your services, your solutions. For example, maybe they saw an ad on a search engine, or maybe they saw some content you wrote or somewhere else. They saw it, they thought about you, and they contacted you. That's outbound and inbound. Now, which ones are more of a fit? They're actually both partly fit and partly not really fit, because the outbound lead is going to be from your ideal customer profile, probably. It will be from a company that is about the right size, and it will be from a person in that company that probably has the right job role. Okay. The downside about these leads is that it might not be the right time, and they might not even have the need for whatever it is that you're selling. Okay. Because in an outbound situation, your sales team went out, they found the right company, whatever, they contacted them, and then maybe it's just not the right time to connect then. Maybe it's hard to get a hold of people, right? But an inbound lead is from people that have the need for whatever it is that you're selling right now. Okay, that's the benefit. But the downside of the inbound leads is that they might not be from the right kind of person. It might not be from the right kind of company too. So you might have trouble with their budget or with your communication processes with them. Which of these is better? Well, for me, I've always done things, well, not always, most of the time do things the inbound way for my own business and for the marketing that we do. But I have a lot of experience working with companies that use the outbound way as well. And I even myself will use it sometimes. I had a job where I used to do all outbound sales prospecting too, quite a while ago. Now, for inbound leads, there's another benefit too, but not always. There are cold and warm inbound leads. A cold lead would be something like a customer has just searched for something online. They clicked an ad, they landed on your landing page, they read a little bit, didn't understand it very well even, or research it, and then they went ahead and contacted you, okay? But they don't know you, they don't like you. Well, they don't dislike you either, they just don't know anything about you. A warmer lead, which can be achieved from inbound, is somebody that already likes your company or even likes you personally. For example, I get people that contact me that say things like, oh, I've been reading your newsletter for 2 years already, and I really love the content and your team or whatever. They often have a specific piece or pieces of content that they mention. This is a very warm lead, right? That is one of the main benefits of content marketing in particular. If you can get those kind of leads, that's great. Now, what if your team is only used to doing one thing or the other? Your sales team might be used to processing these inbound leads only and don't know how to do outbound, or it could be the other way around. Now, you might think that this is easy, so salespeople they'll want as many leads as they can, but it's not always that way. Sometimes if a sales team is getting nice, warm inbound leads, they just won't do any outbound at all. Sometimes if they're doing outbound leads, or they're doing that outbound prospecting and getting the leads, and they're used to getting those ones from the ideal customer profile, they won't know how to sell to inbound either. That can go wrong too. So it's important to discuss this ahead of time or plan things out between your marketing and sales teams to get things as aligned as you can. So first, what if your sales team are used to those outbound leads and then you switch over to inbound and you start giving them inbound? There are some ways that they can get used to this. First of all, they might be getting a lot of inbound leads all of a sudden. They might be getting 100 leads a week, but only maybe 10 of those leads are from ideal customers. If that's the case, they need to learn how to filter. They need to learn how to talk to these leads, talk to these new people a little bit, choose which ones to meet with, choose how to move them to the next step. That can be done manually. That can be done by putting something else in your conversion process. Like, for example, you give people you give your new leads a small course, or you give them access to a webinar so they can learn more before talking to your salespeople. There are lots of ways to do this, okay? Another way that they could adjust to the inbound leads is to adjust the product, because these leads from inbound might not have the budget. Say you're selling something that's worth $50,000, right? But you're getting a lot of smaller businesses in that can't really afford that. Is there a way that you could also offer the same thing or something similar to get them started for a lower price point? Maybe you could. For SaaS companies, one thing that they often do is they have very scalable plans, that would suit businesses at different stages. That's great. For service businesses, sometimes that can be harder because they have to gear up a team in order to provide that service. Those businesses might consider offering something else, like courses or an automated product. A third thing that you might do is adjust their budget, because if an outbound sales team is used to selling to companies that already have a very large budget, sometimes they take that for granted, and they'll say things like, well, these smaller companies, they don't have the budget. But actually, there is a way to get them to increase their budget sometimes if you show them the value. For example, a big company might have a lot of ideas already, or a very strict process in place where they understand the lifetime value of a customer. But some small businesses I talk to don't understand that. They don't know what their lifetime value of a customer is, so you might have to show them the math, show them how this works and builds up over time, show them the value, right? Show them the value with numbers, with cases, with social support. Sorry, what's the word? Social trust building, okay? And get them to reevaluate how much they're able to pay you, or adjust their budget by allowing them to pay you over a longer period of time too. This can be done. Personally, in the kind of sales I do, I don't even ask people what their budget is upfront at all anymore. I just go ahead and show them all the value first and then talk about money. A fourth thing that outbound sales teams need to do, sales teams that are used to outbound and now getting inbound, is they have to remember that these inbound leads want something now or soon, because they're already looking for it. So I found that outbound sales teams might be used to thinking about a lead like, I'll get back to them in a few days. I'll send them a first email in a few days and we'll schedule a meeting for a week later. For inbound, not so much. If somebody wants that service right away, actually, especially in China, you better be answering their questions in real time, like answering their initial questions in real time, and then setting up a call with them pretty soon because they want to get started. Now, what if it's the other way around? Your sales team is used to selling to inbound leads, but not to outbound. Now, this is a situation that I sometimes find myself in because we do 99% of our own business from inbound leads. But once in a while, I contact people. I do some outbound outreach too. And a couple tips I have is, for one, I have to actually remind them who we are and what we do, because sometimes I just forget that and assume that they assume I'm talking to a warm inbound lead. Actually, they just have no idea. And another thing is that you'll have to keep trying over a longer period of time in order to get in touch with people. You might need to follow up monthly or weekly or whatever it is, and try to contact different people at the company you're trying to reach over and over, and be efficient about that until you get them at the right time. Whatever you do for these type of leads, you need to make sure to align your marketing and your sales teams together. Make sure that they're on the same page for this. Now, if the sales team is not paying attention to a certain type of leads, you would need to remind them that you need their support to get this process to work, because the sales team should be passing data on to the marketing team or whoever's doing outbound prospecting, whatever you would call them, and keep the communication open, right? Keep the communication open so that you can improve everything up top that's bringing those leads in so that they can get better leads for those salespeople and get them better results over a longer period of time. Yep, that's it. That's about all my thoughts on this right now. But whether you're doing marketing in China or elsewhere, I'm interested in hearing what you do. Do you like inbound leads or outbound leads, and why is it? Have you tried to get a sales team that is used to only one type of lead to also start to take on the other ones? How did that go? Do you have any tips about this? Glad to hear your feedback. Thanks. I'll see you later.